speaking of intelligence collection, when the terrorist Masood killed all those people in London last week, they've been trying to find a link between him and some terrorist group, Al-Qaeda, whoever it is that might have influenced him. They discovered that he had on his phone an app called WhatsApp. And apparently the officials there want to get information because it's encrypted, but the app developers don't want to cooperate. We're joined right now by cybersecurity expert and attorney Shawn Tuma. Shawn, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Referring back to one of the latest terrorist attacks involving Khalid Masood in England, there's focus now on an app called WhatsApp, and I don't know anything about it. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, WhatsApp is simply a texting and communications application that you can use on your mobile phones as well as over web-based applications, and it allows you to send communications that are encrypted during that channel. So they go through an encrypted tunnel, basically, and people cannot intercept or snoop and see what's in those messages. They're secure. And so even the service provider, the company, WhatsApp, or the government do not have the ability to get in and see what the messages are that you're sending.
I remember this being an issue after the San Bernardino case where investigators wanted to get into that iPhone. It was locked. Nobody wanted to cooperate with them. I think eventually they had to go to some outside firm that somehow broke the encryption. What are the issues here for privacy?
Well, the whole debate is over this supposed privacy versus security machination, I guess you could call it, where the government is saying, look, in this particular case in London, we know that minutes before he did this atrocious act, he sent communications over WhatsApp. We want to know what's in it. We have a right to get in and see and maybe trace it to other collaborators or what have you. And the other side of it is the privacy argument, which is saying, look, we're told to keep data and information private. And in fact, the government encourages us with things such as HIPAA and other rules to use encryption to protect data and communications. And that's a great cybersecurity measure. And so it's creating this challenge between what's more important. Is it the privacy or is it the getting of this information? But then there's a whole new wrinkle to it, because what the government says is, hey, then just give us a back door to the apps that we can use when we need it and get in and see critical information sometimes that may stop terrorism.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to stop terrorism? And so then that's got another wrinkle that we recently saw with the WikiLeaks CIA information being revealed, and that's that the government can't always protect these kind of backdoors. So it's really created quite a mess.
Yes, it has. And to be clear, in the London attack, it's still not for sure that there was anything involved in WhatsApp that was connected to the terror, but that's the question, right? They want to find out.
That's right. All they know is that he sent a message within a few minutes before the act. They don't know what was in it, I don't believe.
Right. And I'm assuming that ultimately they could try to, nothing. Is there anything these days that's absolutely impenetrable?
Depends on who you ask. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything is impenetrable these days. I think there's always some way. And for example, what we also learned with the CIA document revelations and Wikipedia is that while they couldn't break the encryption channel of WhatsApp, what they could do is simply go to your device, use basic hacking type methods like phishing, social engineering, get into your device, and then once you're inside the device, you can see all of those communications that were sent through that encrypted channel.
We're talking to cybersecurity expert Shawn Tuma. I know there are differences in the way the law deals with this in England versus the United States, but it's my understanding there that the Home Secretary has asked the owner of this WhatsApp app and Facebook and some other technology companies to come to a meeting where they can discuss allowing security officers to get access to this data at times. There's probably going to be a lot of pushback on that, I imagine.
That's right. There will be, and that's exactly what they're going to say is, look, you have to give us some sort of key, master key, to get in when we really need it. But the irony of that is in the EU and in the UK, they take privacy to a different level than we do here in the U.S. They view privacy as a human right, and they have these very stringent data protection laws. And the whole thing that led to the U.S. and the EU's privacy framework, the safe harbor, a couple of years ago getting thrown out was the revelations of how the U.S. intelligence agents were able to get in and view these communications. So it's really an ironic situation now.
It is. Shawn Tuma, thank you so much for your time.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.